So today I wanted to take an opportunity to talk about how to fix one's problems. I think people come to the stage in their life where they have an issue, they want to fix it, but sometimes they're not able to, and they can get stuck. So there are many ways to fix issues, but for me, I wanted to give you one perspective to looking at your problems, and hopefully this can help eliminate this issue and kind of smooth out the process. So when we talk about fixing problems, for me, we can break it down to two simple steps. The first one really is to identify the issue. And then the second one is to start to fix that issue. So this is very simplistic, but it's a great start. And what I find that is getting in the way of people starting to make changes in their life is step number one. So we can't even go to step number two because of one thing that it's interfering with the very first step. And this part is really because we cannot or have not been able to diagnose the issue clearly. Many times people, when they first start, they don't even know what the problem is. They know the symptoms, they know they feel uncomfortable, they know they want to make changes, but really get to the heart of the issue. And when you cannot diagnose the problem accurately, then it's a bit difficult to fix because there's so many factors involved. So then the next question is, what is getting in the way of us seeing the problem clearly? And the answer really is because we have many filters. I think as humans, what gets in the way of us diagnosing our issues correctly is because we have a difficult time of seeing things as they really are. We can't see the condition, or we have difficulty seeing the conditions clearly. To break down the problems into steps, into conditions, it can be very difficult. Why? And really, the reason why is because it's tainted with a lot of emotions. Sometimes the feelings get in the way because we're angry, we're envious, we feel hurt, we feel betrayed, and we feel humiliated because these emotions are still clouding our mind, like the lens, like a sunglass lens that we're looking at the problem. Then it's tainted, and the issue that is right in front of us, we can't diagnose it clearly. We also then taint it with history, because many of us then have been hurt in the past. We had patterns where this has happened before, so then I can't let that go because this pattern, of course, will repeat itself again. We make up stories sometimes because the way we judge other people, the way we judge the environment, the way we judge the condition. So then we'll ruminate and then come up with a worst case scenario, or this may happen and that may happen, and it's normal. Another thing that interferes with our ability to see the problem clearly too is also because of judgments. When we're trying to fix ourselves, when we're trying to improve ourselves, then people can get into this ability of, then I'm a bad person. I never will get over this. We make generalization of how come I can't ever learn this lesson? How come it's taking me so long? I feel like I'm a bad person. I feel like I'm a person who is not so smart. I feel this about myself. So that the judgment of yourself also gets in the way as well. We can also have interference with the ego and with pride, and we have an issue right in front of us, but how dare this person talk to me that way? Do they know who I am? Or sometimes you know it's a good idea to let something go, but I can't let that go because that person will win. So again, all these factors influence and affect our way of seeing the problem and diagnosing it clearly. From judgments to the raw emotions that you're still experiencing, from ego and pride and greed and delusion. All of this is interfering with us even achieving step number one. So when we haven't been able to get step number one correctly, and we go to step number two, then now the issue is diluted. What we're arguing about is not even the issue at hand. And we see this when couples argue. You know, you can get into this pattern and tit for tat. Then I'm right and you're wrong. Or the stories and the judgment interferes, and then we're arguing about something that has nothing to do with anything. And I don't know if anyone can relate, but where you get to the point of this arguing and you're like, wait, what are we even arguing about? What is the underlying issue? So again, go back to step number one, and this video will give you tips of how do you actually do that. So to summarize briefly is why we have difficulty fixing our issue is because when our lens of looking at the issue is not clear, we're not able to see our problems neutrally and just looking at the facts without everything else interfering. This interferes our ability to solve this problem. The analogy, I know this is a lot, but the analogy that for me I can use that may be helpful for you is just imagine you're a car and you're going on a long road trip, cross country. So you're driving your car from Florida, one side of the coast in America, all the way to San Diego, the west coast of America. And this is a very long trip. And middle of the trip, or in the middle of the trip, you're driving and the car is overheated. There's smoke, it's making a lot of noise, and now your car has an issue. You do your best, and luckily for you, you make it to the mechanic. You take your car into a shop, and what is the first step? The first step really is, in order to diagnose the issue with your car, you need to allow everything to cool down. Before we can start breaking the hood apart, before we can start breaking everything apart, just put your car in park, everyone rest, allow the engine to cool down, and then we start to see this issue for what it is. The mechanic will then do a test, see all the parts as it is without any story, without any judgments of it, without any greed and ego and pride and history. Take all that out. But as the mechanic, they just look at what is in front of them. Okay, here's the tires, here's the pipes, here's the radio, here's the hood. I wish I had more examples, but I don't know cars. But I'm doing my best. But really is the point of it is let everything cool down. Break these parts into small bits, spread them all out. And then with that, then you can diagnose the issue. And then when you have the issue, then you can go to part number two, and now we can start to fix the issue. And when people are clear on the issue, I find that they can have the solution, or that they can find the resources to help them with this solution. But the key really is when we misdiagnose it. We don't even know what the problem is. It's a bit difficult to fix. So then imagine, again, using this car analogy. You're this car. It's overheated, it's breaking down, you have this big issue, and you're trying to figure out how do I fix this, and also what is going on with me, what is the problem. So then use this analogy of the car of just step back, take a breath, put it on hold, and allow the emotions, allow the judgments, allow everything to just settle all the way to the ground. And with this, then you can start to analyze your situation very clearly without any other side noise. And just know these are the conditions. But what happened is that people will try to start fixing their problems when it's overheated. And when anyone touches a part, then we get reactive. And then when we're reactive, we can't see, and now we're defensive. So again, when all these factors are at stake, then it's a bit difficult to start fixing it, and it gets in the way of us seeing the problem as it is. Now I want to throw another reference that may be helpful for you, and that really is the experience of Buddhist monks and how we train ourselves. When we enter the monastery, what we're saying is that we want to develop our spiritual path. We want to purify our minds and develop the wisdom. And we want to explore ourselves. We want to fix our behaviors. We want to fix our habits. We want to become better people and really explore ourselves and do the work. So what's the first step? And really the first step is for us then, we have to take the precepts, 227 precepts as Theravada monks. And what that does is it insulates us from all the outside noise, all the things that come to interfere with our ability to observe the situation. Then the noise is reduced. So we just block everything out. So what these precepts do is that it protects more of the outside noise, more darkness that can come in to taint this experience. And slowly, by practicing and observing these precepts, then everything starts to slow down. The noise that keeps coming to bombard us gets less. Now we have more space to hear ourselves. And then we introduce a second concept, and that second concept is with meditation. And meditation is really for us to develop the skill of observation. So when we're meditating, every day, the practice is any thoughts that come into our mind, just observe it. Don't engage with it, don't interact with it, don't judge it, but really, notice it lightly, compassionately, very gentle, and keep training every single day. And we're developing the skill of this neutral observation. And then the third part is then we use the wisdom that we gain from this stillness, from this practice of meditation, and now we then can start to fix our lives. But it's very key, because even in the monastery, it's not said deliberately, but the first part is really to allow all the noise to settle down, all the judgments we have to settle down. Our ego, our pride, our history, our story, take that out. Come into this present moment. Be calm, be still, be neutral. Now, then, we can start to observe ourselves. And in this place, just like the car, we take ourselves apart. And with this neutrality, we start to see, wow, I have these habits. Wow, I engage in these patterns. Oh, this is actually how my thinking process works. And then with this thinking process, then it brings up these emotions. With these emotions, then I act in this kind of way. We then pay attention to our intentions of, oh, my intention is not so pure. And then again, everything that arises in us, we study it neutrally. And that is really the first step. Not judging ourselves. I'm a bad person. I'm not good enough. Why do I keep doing this to me? None of that stuff. But just see your life in this present moment, behaviors, thoughts, actions, speech, patterns, very neutrally. And when you are neutral, like the car, when everything has cooled down, now you see what the problem is, neutrally, again, that is the key word, and now then take your wisdom of what you have and the resources that you have and start to fix this problem. And the way you fix it is you can use the Buddhist lens, and we've been saying this over and over, and I'll continue to say this, but the Buddhist lens, as simple as possible, is really the bad that you're doing, or another way of saying it is the behavior that is not working and helping you. Stop doing that. That's it. No story, no judgment, no drama. That's a key part. And then just as of this moment, As of today, don't continue this behavior, this action. The second part is then do more good. Do the opposite behavior. Do the new pattern that you're wanting to improve on. The new action, the new habits, the new thoughts, the new intentions that you're wanting to introduce, the better qualities and perfections that you want to develop. Start. Integrate it in this moment. And then step number 3 is then meditate and purify your mind. Develop the wisdom, the know-how. When you see everything as it is, then you know how to fix it and use that wisdom to fix your issue. And then what's next? And what's next is you just repeat, and just go deeper and refine every single day and keep working through it. And it takes a long time, it takes practice, and in the monastery, and I'm not just preaching, but this is what we do every single day to really explore ourselves without any judgment. This is what's happening in this moment. Now, knowing all the conditions and knowing all the factors, the bad, stop. The good, keep it, and then keep adding more good. And then lastly, meditate. Purify your mind, develop more energy, more wisdom, and then use it again. So this cycle keeps going over and over and over, and we call this the refinement process. Refine yourself, clean yourself, take your car apart into all the, as many pieces as possible. What is not working for you, what is broken, what is dirty, what is not functioning, get rid of it. That's it. And take the best part that is left, put it back together, clean it up, put it back together, and keep adding more good. Build your car. And this is the process. But again, coming back to the point of why am I sharing this? Why I'm sharing this is because many people have a difficult time fixing their issue because they're too reactive. They're judging this current moment. They're judging the conditions that are faced in front of them. And when you do that, it's interfering. It's getting in your way of diagnosing your problem clearly. Don't make up a story. Don't make up a drama. Just see things as they are. And then with that, the neutrality, with the equanimity, and the accurate diagnosis of the problem, then you can start to fix this problem. So I hope this is helpful for you, but take it, try it, test it out, and see how it may improve your situation. But that's all I have for today. So hopefully you enjoyed it, hopefully it was helpful. So as always, just sending all my blessings to all of you from Thailand, and please be safe. Thank you.